From the fastest hat trick of all time to the biggest loss ever, these are NHL records that'll never be broken. First, you'd expect the Canadiens to have one of the worst records, cause they're pretty dog shit. They were still in 2018, but when one of the greatest moments of the last century happened, people were starting to think the Canadiens had a future.
Estomi in, shoots, scores! Max Domi! Those goals, 2 minutes, 42 seconds apart. Empty net, that'll seal it right off the draw. Armia, let it go.
Imagine you left your seat for 2 seconds and missed 2 goals. I'd be pissed.
Speaking of records, the Montreal Canadiens set one last night in Montreal, scoring the fastest 2 goals by one team in NHL history.
I mean, for the Canadiens to have a record like that is hilarious. I don't think they're gonna accomplish much more for a long time. Being remembered for fast goals is pretty cool, but it's even cooler to have literally everyone scared of you right when you step foot on the ice. I'm not sure why this dude wasn't a boxer instead of a hockey player. In the 70s, a lot of players were added to teams just to be enforcers, basically to beat the shit out of people to protect their players. Tiger Williams was one of the best. If you saw him on the ice, you better be ready to throw hands. Hell, you don't have to just be a player either.
Watch Tiger Williams come in here. He takes the guy. He got a boarding penalty in overtime. It was nothing. He couldn't believe it. And they score here. Like, this is nothing. He'd been calling nothing. The referee been calling nothing. Now watch what Larry Robinson did. He zings her home, and they're out now. Now watch Larry Robinson try to quit. Tiger goes nuts. He's going right in the thing. The referee leaves. He leaves the ice.
The fans loved him. His ops feared him. His teammates needed him. He was willing to do anything to help his team out.
You honestly think that you have to fight?
If there's a reason, yeah. It's if somebody's beating on Boya Salming's legs or on my captain's knees, yes, definitely. Because the good thing about fighting is that you can restore respect. And if I have to beat somebody off to do that, I feel it's... nobody has to tell me to do it. It's just instinct.
Beat someone off? Hey, yo! But his personality didn't just show in his fights, also when he played for real.
To get any better than this, Tiger Williams. More penalty minutes than anything else, but oh, when he scored, did he know how to celebrate. Get on that stick, you wicked witch, and ride it out.
He could go too far, though, like when he literally broke a hockey stick on Dennis Ochar's head. The law doesn't usually get involved in on-ice fights, but since he had to get a ton of stitches after the fight, things were different.
He was acquitted. The judge felt Williams had not meant to break his stick over another player's head, did not mean to cut him for 18 stitches.
I never want it to happen again, and I really hope it doesn't happen to any other player, because it's mentally tough on you, and it's, you know, it's hard in the family. You know, when you're going to court for assault with a deadly weapon, it sounds like I'm Charlie Manson's brother, but...
Because of his brawls, he earned the unbreakable record of 3,966 penalty minutes. That's more than 2.5 days sitting in the box. The next closest active player is at 1,432 minutes. Yeah, he never really learned his lesson, though, because only last year, this happened.
According to the RCMP, Williams was arrested without incident in the Lake Village of Beaver Flat, charged with uttering death threats and assault. RCMP say the male victim did not sustain any physical injury and did not require medical attention. In 2018, Williams was charged following an alleged incident of sexual assault in December of 2017 on a Team Canada flight to Greece to visit military personnel in Europe. Those charges were dropped in 2019.
Still getting misconducts even outside the NHL. Inside the NHL, this team should have been banned, because what they did is diabolical. During the 1975-76 season, the Maple Leafs were struggling quite a lot. They just couldn't get any consistency going. The Bruins, however, were fine though. They were having a great season. Leafs captain Darryl Sitler was determined to show them who's boss. But in his rush to get to the game, he missed his usual pregame meal and was forced to just scarf down some microwave chicken. Then his ride to the game showed up late. Sitler was already annoyed at the team owner, who had roasted him in the media a day earlier and said that they needed a better center, the position Sitler played. All that together created one of the most historical games of all time for Sitler.
Sitler wins the draw. Boya Salmi still hits it overhand. Sitler has a break at center. Over the line. Put the save.
He scored 6 goals and 4 assists there, which makes it the most points in a game for any player. Compared to the most points, this next NHL record was infinitely more weird. Mike Sillinger played 19 seasons in the NHL. He was super versatile, able to adapt to all different types of roles. He could play as a center and was also effective on special teams. Great at face-offs, he could fit into a lot of different lineups, which made him a prime candidate to throw into different situations. He also had pretty cheap contracts. His highest contract was $2.3 million and lowest was $43K. So this guy was tossed around more than Kendall Jenner. He was traded 9 times and played on 12 different NHL teams. Dude has quite the jersey collection.
What's the best looking jersey you play? Please say the Regina Pats.
Yeah, I'm going to say NHL jersey, but the Pats have a great jersey. Absolutely. Pats have a fantastic jersey. My NHL jersey was probably my the Vancouver Canucks. They had the old Canucks, the black and yellow.
Right. With the V?
Canucks, yeah. Not with the V, no. It's just the old Canucks logo, and it's the black, yellow, and
the circle.
I have a jersey. It's awesome. Great. So I have a jersey from every team I played on. I have one of those ones, and it was a game-worn one, so it's hung here downstairs in the basement.
You don't always think about the effect trades have on actual players' lives, but it's also good to hear he made it out on top. And this dude is definitely on top, because he's the GOAT of hockey. I mean, this dude was such a savage. He has his own top 25 list of his records. He has the record for the most records. One of his most impressive was this.
Gretzky also holds the record for most assists in a single season with an astonishing 163 assists in 1985-86.
He also had the most points in a single season, most Art Ross trophies, and 50 goals in 39 games. Dude had all the reason to be cocky, but he's as humble as anyone.
We forgot to realize how good some of these defensemen are and how great some of the goaltenders are. Back in the 60s, the goaltenders really weren't the best athletes on the team. Grant Fuhr came along, and Marty Brodeur and Patrick Roy. Those guys were athletes. They were some of the best athletes on their teams. They all handle the puck, they all skate, they all shoot it. So it's tougher to score now. I'm the first guy to sit here and tell you, I played in the right era. It's harder to score points now than it was when I played. But everybody seems to put their hat on and try to make it more of an offensive game.
I don't think there's any argument that he's not the GOAT, but honestly, it's awesome that he's so humble. A hat trick, however, doesn't make any player humble, because it's only one of the greatest feats a player can achieve. Although it happens kind of often. What doesn't happen often is the record for it. March 23rd, 1952. It was the third period. The Blackhawks were down 6-2. They didn't even have a playoff chance, so most people would expect them just to wait out and lose. And even some fans left the stadium early, but Bill Mosienko had other plans. At 6 minutes and 9 seconds, he scored his first goal. This was his 29th goal of the season. He wanted to get 30 right here and now. 11 seconds later, he hit his 30th goal. Now he was in a face-off. They controlled the puck and moved it closer to the net. Mosienko buried the puck into the top right of the net, securing the fastest hat trick of all time at 21 seconds. Then the Blackhawks scored 2 more to win the game 7-6 for one of the greatest comebacks of all time. It's honestly mostly luck that he was able to do that, so I don't see it getting beaten anytime soon. And in second place is Jean Beliveau with 44 seconds. But still, if your team is down 3 with 21 seconds to go, remember that Mosienko did it. So maybe your team can too. And if you're an older dude and want to be a hockey player, don't give up hope yet. All you have to do is be one of the best players of all time. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows on Gordie Howe's rise to greatness. See, Howe started out as a 14-year-old at a tryout camp in Winnipeg. There, Lester Patrick told him he might as well go home and that he'd never be a hockey player. Howe wasn't discouraged though. It only fueled his fire. So when the Red Wings gave him a junior offer, he was ready to grind. And he did, because eventually he earned a spot on the full NHL team when he had turned 18. Then, in his very first game, he got a goal, which was a big middle finger to Lester Patrick. The haters had given him a fighting spirit too, and he literally lost 2 teeth in his first game as well. Howe fought so often in his rookie season that the head coach Jack Adams told him, "I know you can fight. Now can you show me you can play hockey?" And so he showed him everything he could do. Now a Gordie Howe hat trick is when you record an assist, a goal, and a fight in a single game. Over the next couple of years, the Red Wings became one of the best teams in the league on his, Sid Abel, and Ted Lindsay's back. They were called the production line because they were so efficient at scoring, and the city of Detroit has their factories. The trio was so on point, they finished 1, 2, and 3 in the 1950s points leaderboard. But then, a gruesome fight would change the course of Gordie's career. Maple Leafs captain Ted Kennedy came at him during a game and slammed his head into the boards. Gordie was rushed to the ER to relieve the pressure on his brain. After it all, his skull was fractured and his cheekbone and nose were broken. And even though he missed the playoffs, his team was still able to win the Stanley Cup. But you know that wouldn't stop Howie. He came back the next season and won the scoring title by 20 points. He was ready to dominate everyone. They won the Stanley Cup 4 times, and Gordie won 4 straight scoring titles. And so time went on, and Howie turned 40. He was still a beast. He scored 103 points, the most in his career. He was showing the world what was possible for an old dude. But he wasn't done there. He joined his sons in the rival league, the WHA. At 46 years old, he won MVP of their league until he had his sons moved to the New England Whalers. In 1979, the WHA went bankrupt, and the NHL absorbed Howie's team. Though the Red Wings still held Howie's NHL rights since he had retired 8 years earlier, the Whalers and the Red Wings reached a gentleman's agreement in which Detroit agreed not to reclaim him. Howie played one final season in the NHL, and he became the oldest man ever to play an NHL game at 52 years and 10 days old. In the same season, he was named to the All-Star team.
And from the Hartford Whalers, representing all of hockey with great distinction for 5 decades, number 9.
But the best all-around player that can play any position and probably go in goal was Gordie Howe. He could kill penalties, power play defense, shoot both hands. Best all around, all around. I used to say, boy, this guy's not very fast. And then I got on the ice beside him and tried to skate with him. Wow.
Unfortunately, at 88, the legend passed away.
Gordie just has a special gift with people. You can tell when you meet him. Within 5 seconds, you'll be best friends with Gordie. You think you knew him forever.
I learned a lot of things in life and in hockey from Gordie. And what he did for our game and how he handled himself as a person. I was just really lucky. He was a wonderful guy.
Seriously, what an amazing player. And honestly, I can't see any other player playing past 50. Unless LeBron joins the NHL for some reason. Teemu Selanne was equally as impressive his rookie year, because he has one of the most unbeatable records ever. Rookies aren't really meant to dominate the league right off the bat, but when Selanne was selected 10th overall by the Winnipeg Jets, he was determined to make an immediate impact. He had played in Finland for a couple of years before going to the NHL at 22 years old, so he was finally ready. He was a trailblazer, super good on offense.
He should score! 6 shots on goal in the opening period. Has another one here, and he scored! Selanne scores! Selanne wrapped up. Sejanov looking for room. Selanne shoots, he scores!
Dude literally could not make a mistake. The record for goals for a rookie was 53.
Teemu Selanne breaks it! He scored!
Against the Quebec Nordiques, Selanne exploded for a hat trick, breaking Bossy's record. He marked the achievement with an unforgettable celebration. Selanne finished his Calder Trophy winning season with 76 goals and 132 points. Both rookie records that remain unmatched.
Not only did this dude break the record, he shattered it. He got 76 goals on the season and added another 56 assists for good measure, totaling 132 points in 84 games. And since then, no rookie has even come close. That's definitely a record you want. But this next one is one you definitely don't, because it's the most embarrassing one yet. It was World War II. Many of the greatest players in the league were called to serve, including Brian Hextall, a menace on the ice for the Rangers. So they were shorthanded when they took on the blazing hot Red Wings. And quickly, disaster struck. The Red Wings came out slow, at least compared to what would happen later. They scored only 2 goals in the first period. Then they cooked the Rangers in the second. 5 goals. And if you can believe it, these guys locked in for the third period and scored 8 more. And for the Rangers, they scored nothing. Absolute bums. It was the biggest loss of all time at 15-0. When the NHL only had 6 teams, it was a bit easier to win, but still, you had to be a pretty damn good player to bring a Stanley Cup to your team. And one of those dudes was literally called the Pocket Rocket. So you know he was a dog. And behind him, the Montreal Canadiens were dominant. Together, they straight up won 5 Stanley Cups in a row. And then Henri Richard won 11 total with the Canadiens for the record. That was incredibly difficult even with 6 teams. So I don't see that record ever getting broken with 32 teams. games. But this next one won't even get broken, because you'd legit need an android to replicate it. See, Mario Lemieux was selected first overall by the Pittsburgh Penguins, and immediately he was a game changer. And in his first NHL game, guess what he did? He scored on his very first shot. He was shaping up to be a legend. He tallied 100 points on 43 goals and 57 assists on his rookie season. Fast forward to 1988, and he had won the league's top scorer with 168 points, taking over from Wayne Gretzky's previous year after he had won 7 consecutive. Mario was determined to do it again the next year. He wanted to show that a young guy could still leave a legacy early in his career, so every game was a spectacle to watch. But a game versus the New Jersey Devils on December 31st, 1988 would be remembered forever.
They need a big game from Lemieux, because once a team...
Lemieux centering, score! Check away, Lemieux's out in front on the right. Broughton trying to cut the angle off Lemieux and Broughton. Lemieux in, score! They've got the full 2 minutes. Score! Mario Lemieux, the perfect trick. Lemieux. That's it! Brazil has Lemieux. He got it to him. 2 seconds. He shoots. He scores. And
that was 5 goals in 5 different ways. A shorthanded, power play, even strength, penalty shot, and an empty net goal all in one game.
Because it had never been done, nobody ever talked about, boy, wouldn't it be great if somebody scored 5 goals 5 ways? It was just another game where we were expecting Mario to do big things. The Devils were a team that had kind of been a pain in our butts over the years. They kind of made life miserable for Mario on many nights, but on this night they weren't stopping him. He was unbelievable. Jay Caulfield, great guy, didn't get a chance to score many goals. He's on the ice with Mario late in the game, had the puck at center ice, wide open net ahead of him.
It was great to have that opportunity, and again, finding it, I kind of just knew who I would, in my mind, it wasn't even a question who I was going to move it to.
Caulfield has Lemieux. He got it to him. 2 seconds. He shoots. He scores. It will count.
Mario would continue heating up the NHL. He won 6 Ross Hart trophies and was MVP 3 times. And even more crazy was that he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of cancer. And on the last day of his radiation treatment, he got right back on the ice and won the scoring title, even though he missed 2 months that season. Through it all, the NHL still remembered his feat 29 years later.
5 goals, 5 different ways on December 31st, 1988.
Well, it's a tremendous honor to have been selected. My 5 goals, 5 ways back in 1988, and it was certainly a special night. And you think of all the great moments in NHL history over the last 100 years. For the fans to pick my 5 goals is something special. So thank you to all the fans. Appreciate it.
So Guy Lafleur is here to commemorate the amazing moment. 5 goals in 1 game, 5 different ways. Congratulations.
You get remembered for losing hockey games, right? Well, that's at least what the Washington Capitals told themselves. It was their inaugural season. The league had just expanded, but they weren't like Vegas. They thought they would be a dumpster fire, and so they were. They had a bunch of injuries, some of the worst players, no stars, and everything snowballed to the point where they just could not get a dub. It got so bad that they only won 8 games. They really need someone to save their franchise, like a goalie, especially when he can act like a magician and palm the puck without looking at it. You know what? There's even more franchise-saving goalie moments in this video right here. So go ahead, click it. I'll see you there.